Hey folks, happy Wednesday. It's Ask Evelyn Live. This is episode 40, does not compute. We're going to be talking about what to do with your old electronics when you're done with them and where they go after that. So I'm your host, Becca Fong, and I am the Single Family Residential Outreach Program Manager for Seattle Public Utilities, which is a long way of saying I create all the information and flyers for all of you out there to help you sort your waste, just about recycling, compost, garbage, and other trashy topics. And we get these awesome questions from all of you out there. So we're so glad those of you who could join us. And here joining us now, getting logged on, is my co-host.
Hey, I'm Pat Kaufman, everybody. I'm the Commercial Recycling and Composting Program Manager for Seattle Public Utilities. Help businesses recycle and compost, so happy to be here.
Awesome. How you doing, Pat?
Good. Happy to be here. This is all about computer and electronics recycling today, right?
Absolutely. I had,
right.
I don't know what, I think this is a problem that we all have. So,
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a really good question this week. So do you want to kick us off?
Sure thing. So the question is, to our Ask Evelyn inbox. Hi, Evelyn. I have a pile of old electronics to get rid of. I have a desktop computer and monitor, some old cell phones, a cracked tablet, and a very old laptop. Some of them work and some of them don't. I know they can't go in the garbage, so what am I to do? What are my options? Thanks, Nyla. Well, quick answer, Becca. What do you got?
Absolutely. So Nyla, you got kind of three options here. So you could use our special item pickup. We do an electronics pickup, which everything that fits into a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot box. And we'll talk about those details in a second.
Mm-hmm.
You could also drop off these items at various locations through a great program that's coordinated and certified through something called ecyclewashington.org.
Right.
We'll talk more about that. And then also I know, Nyla, not all of your things currently work, but for those that do or could use a light repair, there are some donation options. So, all right. So those three. So we'll kind of take them in turns to give you a little more detail. So Pat, why don't you help us? First, I think a lot of folks will ask us, like, what exactly are electronics? Like, how would you define that?
Something that has a cord that goes into it or that is charged, like a cordless device would be, something that charges up. Everything from a clock radio up to a large television, all the stereo components of days gone by, boom boxes, all that fun stuff, electronics. And, so the options we have are various really on this. When you have electronics, sometimes if they're in good shape and they are in working order, then you can donate them. If you go to a Goodwill or a thrift store, they'll have a whole wall of CD players and VCRs and things like that. And, apparently they plug them in and make sure they work before they hit the floor. But the point is, you want to make sure they work before you donate it to them. Otherwise, you're just passing off something that's not ideal. The difference between certain electronics is, so I was just talking about like a stereo component or a VCR. Make sure they work before you donate those. Whereas a television or computer or a laptop, those are covered under the eCycle Washington program. And that is a process where all the manufacturers of electronics pay into a fund of TVs and computers, and those funds pay for the statewide collection effort and recycling of old TVs and old computers. So those things, a lot of thrift stores will accept, and they don't put it on the floor to sell. They just process it through the eCycle Washington recycling process.
Totally. So I think the best option that I have definitely taken advantage of as a Seattle Public Utilities customer is our special item pickup, which is fantastic.
Yes.
So we have an electronics pickup. So if you have a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot box, you can put any electronics that fit into that box. Oh, Pat's got a visual. See, people.
I got a visual.
Pat is here to help you guys, right? So it's pretty big. I mean, you can put a lot of stuff in there. So 2 by 2 by 2. I would round up as many electronics, as defined by Pat here.
Another visual
box. There you go. We got the VCR. There we go. So that would definitely fit in there. You just want to make sure that it does not exceed 60 pounds. So the awesome thing about this service is that you can fill that box that Pat has with all of your electronic items, and it is $20 for us to pick it up at your house.
I think that is one of the coolest things SQ has done, of late, is to do the commingle thing of like, okay, you got a clock radio, you got an old VCR, you've got some other, a little boom box or something like that. So these kinds of electronics, if it has a cord in it, it's that kind of electronic, then put them all into one box, like you said, 60 pounds, and some of these old components are quite heavy. I grabbed this lighter one, but I actually have this one that's about twice this tall, and it's like the stereo receiver unit, and it is solid state.
Yeah.
It is a beast. So I didn't grab that for this, but that's going to get you up. You got to watch your weight, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And the great thing about that is through that service, we tap into that eCycle Washington program that Pat was just talking to. So those things are all being recycled. And Pat, you were mentioning something about, nylon knows that they're not supposed to go in the garbage, but maybe for folks watching, you can kind of break that down a little bit.
Yeah. So a few years ago, before the eCycle Washington program went into play, a lot of people had the old television sets, which have a lot of inherent toxic elements, lead, and other rare earth minerals and things that we did not want to have in the landfill. So the state and the city passed laws that prohibited the disposal of television CRTs, which is the old big tube TV, and the old big computer monitors. Yeah, the big, giant, deep, huge computer monitors. So if you still have one of those, is that what that is?
That totally is.
Yeah, sure. I thought that was a
totally
show.
Yeah. Check that out.
Exactly. So those kind of guys, they are prohibited from the garbage. You can get in trouble if you throw those in the garbage. So don't do that. And those are the ones that are covered by the eCycle Washington program. So they're free to drop off. Yes. The difference between what's free and what's not, the other thing to note is that a unit like this, a little CD player, a VCR, it's something that can be placed in our electronics collection program, but it's not free to every recycler. That's right.
If you want to drop it off.
You can go to the Take It Back Network. King County and SPU together, we manage this program called Take It Back Network. And it's a program that identifies different types of things that are electronics and such, and gives you options for take back. I think that our special item pickup is probably the most convenient option for folks.
It is.
By the time you load up and drive across town or whatever, it's probably pretty easy.
Totally. So I think one quick note about the special item pickup, there's two ways to access it. You can go to the utilities customer service portal, which is myutilities.seattle.gov. Of course, we'll put a link in our show notes to that. Right. Or you can call us at 206-684-3000 and set that up. You need to make sure that you are the account holder in order to do that. So if you're a single family resident, you are the account holder, you'll need to have your account number. If you live in a multifamily residence, an apartment or a condo, you'll need to make some arrangements with your property manager to do that. So just a couple of notes on that. Really quickly, we also talked about kind of places to donate it to. So Nyla's you've got a couple of things that are broken. Yeah. And if you do want to drop those off, though, you want to make sure to go and look at an eCycle Washington Place or through Take It Back Network, and they will take those back and handle them safely, reclaim the materials that they can. Three places that I know Pat and I have also used personally is RePC, Interconnection, and 3R. All really great businesses who will repair it if it can be repaired, like your cracked tablet. Maybe they can repair that screen and resell it to somebody at a very affordable rate. The other thing they will do is they have really good data management. So if you're afraid of your information getting out, they have great procedures. They use great programs to actually erase that data, so you feel very safe and very confident there. So
they have all the proper software that wipes the whole hard drive, and some of them even have physical crusher units, just to make sure it's completely kaput. I remember University of Washington had a whole system, like a protocol, like they had to wipe every computer before it even went into the eCycle Washington program. So there's, if you have data on your computer and you're concerned about it, kind of like how some people are more apt to shred their paper bills than others who would just recycle them. If folks really want to make sure their computer is wiped and crushed and whatever, then those three companies, among a few others, but those three, RePC, Interconnection, 3R Technologies, those guys are really good at that higher customer service request kind of thing. And repairs, like you said, there's a number of other shops around town that do repairs, which is a great kind of, I'm moving into the tips section, I think. But,
we're almost there. So just a really great recap. Nyla, this is such a good question because, you can see by my house, like I got lots of stuff that I got to take to the electronics recycler. One quick thing, floppy disks, not recyclable. These are going to go in the trash. I've got a ton of these. I got to come up with some handy reuse project. But so your three options really, Nyla, are special item pickup through the electronics, which is a fantastic deal. You can also take them to drop off either go to eCycleWashington.org. Again, we'll put that link in our show notes. Or
Right.
you can also donate those items. If they're working, you can donate them to Goodwill. I know you had a couple things that might have been working, so that might be a good option for you. But again, lots of information. We'll put links to everything so you can follow up. So
Yeah,
now we're to
and you
the,
can
now
also
we're to,
offer up well, real quick. The other
yeah.
donation thing is our usual, our Craigslist free cycle buy nothing groups. I mean,
Oh yeah.
if you have a working TV, I see them all the time on Craigslist, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
they move. I mean, I picked one up one time, so
Oh yeah.
needed one for the basement, so I'm like, okay. And so I think that's a great reuse before you get to
Totally.
thrift, or because a lot of these TVs that go to a thrift store or to one of the drop off sites where they do resell things,
Yep.
they'll just do a quick check, and if it doesn't look like it's in great shape or isn't of the size they know that really sells easily, then they will just recycle it. If it's a totally functioning television or computer monitor, then offer it up, via other channels first to try and get, because that's the best, right? The highest
Yep.
and best reuse is from person to a person, not through a
Totally.
service or an agency. Best way is person to person reuse.
Always a good plug. Always
Yeah.
a good reminder. All
Okay.
right, so we're at the point of our show where we talk about the weekly trash tip, and since we're talking about electronics,
Yeah.
Pat, you had a really good weekly trash tip.
Well, it was about repair. There's a lot of talk in the industry, in the solid waste industry, about repairing everything. From your blue jeans to the lamp you have that doesn't seem to work. We have repair cafes and things going on. Pre-COVID, we had a lot more of that. But the idea is that as a consumer, if you have an item that is not working, we don't want to fall into the trap of the planned obsolescence that manufacturers will do. It's like one little thing breaks or doesn't function correctly on your unit, and you think you have to throw the whole thing out and go to a new one. And naturally, the appliance repair person is not really the norm much anymore. But just looking for those opportunities, especially in electronics, these are expensive devices, little
Yep.
phones and tablets, and so looking, grabbing the other phone you have maybe, and doing a quick search if your phone is broken to try and find a shop nearby. We have one in Ballard here called iDope, and it's just a great little shop, and they've repaired everyone in my family has taken a cracked screen or a bad battery or something from one of their
Right?
phones or something. So, and then I just want to also mention to folks
Yep.
who watch the show that might be really, really into this stuff, and that is that this term right to repair. Manufacturers don't always make it super easy, especially
Yeah.
the big time
Yeah.
manufacturers, to get into their products and fix things. And so there's a movement. There is legislation in place that is moving through the process, I believe, in our state right now, around the right to repair. And the idea is, we're trying to make it so manufacturers give local repair outfits the opportunity to see the schematic, to understand how to go in and fix a brand new laptop that just for some reason is not working. So
Yeah.
if you're into it and you want to engage, then search right to repair legislation and you can find more information on that.
Absolutely. I think it's a really good tip. And actually, that's my weekly trash tip is to look at used or refurbished electronics when you're looking to replace something. For me, the last time I got a new cell phone, one of my friends was upgrading, and they said, hey, I'm upgrading to a new phone. And I told them, hey, I was looking for a new phone, and I paid them just a little bit less than what the manufacturer would have paid them to trade in.
Mm-hmm.
I got a new battery, and I was good to go. I got a brand new cell phone for, practically for like less than $100. It was really great.
New to you. That's
New
great.
to me, which is even better than new. But there's also lots of great, refurbished items, even directly from the retailers. So like Samsung and Apple all have refurbished programs,
Right.
and a lot of energy, a lot of material, a lot of resources goes into making these electronics, which is why the recycling and the reclamation of them is so important. So that's my tip. Pat's is to go and get your stuff repaired locally and support Right to Repair, and mine is to, buy refurbished, buy used, new to you.
That's great.
All right.
All right.
Well, folks, one more quick reminder, because it is cold, it is bitterly cold out there. It is the season for some inclement weather. So just a quick reminder to sign up for Alert Seattle or the Recycle It app, or both. I have both. And we'll alert you if there are any service interruptions. Another really great thing for those of you who I'm guessing are on social with us, check out the hashtag Seattle Winter, and that will have lots of information from City Light, Seattle Public Utilities, and SDOT about stuff that's happening in the winter. So, and of course, links to all that below as well. All right. With that, Lots of information, you guys. Keep those questions coming. You power our program. And like I said, episode 40, thank you guys so much for hanging with us. We are having a great time. We love hearing from you. So with that, I'm Becca Fong. And remember, life's simpler with less stuff.
And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right. I'll see you next week.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.